slight exception on the invitation. We were referred to as the non-glamorous side of publishing. So today I wore girly shoes and Spencer shaved. I want to introduce you to the rest of my team. In addition to Spencer, there's Bettina, who's my right arm, and Timonette. So, the other, yes. What we're going to do today is just show some brief stats, a few videos, and kind of just make it as painless as possible. If you want to ask questions, feel free, knock yourself out. So, to Spencer.
Yeah, just to start off, this is just a brief overview of what's happening in the business as a whole. So, we can start by saying that Caboodle and the Bundle, that you all know about, but if you don't know about it, we'll get into it more later, is the first bundling solution for PDF replicas, and then just a few other stats that say 60% of our readers are between the ages of 15 and 34, 86% of our readers own a smartphone, but it's just to give you just a brief overview of what's happening in the business. So what we're going to speak about is what is a PDF replica, what platforms we are on, some stuff about ABC and the digital circ, what's worked, and our big project Caboodle and the Bundle, which has caused lots of tears and joy and many things of that ilk. So what a PDF replica is basically what you see in the magazine is replicated digitally. So the ABC, which is the Audit Bureau of Circulation, says in their definition of what it is. A PDF replica edition is a replica of the main body of a print publication distributed or viewed electronically. So it's downloadable as a PDF. It's capable of searching text within the article, and the articles are easy to find, and you can bookmark stuff so it's easier to find later on. And I think Joe wants to say something else as well.
Yeah, what I want to jump in here is, the reason we put this up here is probably the most common thing we get asked is why isn't it enriched and can do this and play videos and make copy and everything. It's just a PDF replica. We are slightly constrained by the current ABC rules that if you want to count a digital copy for circulation, it must be a PDF replica. So for the most part, we have to stick as closely as possible to the print version. So there is a lot of work being done at the parcel level to change those rules and make them a lot more flexible, to take into account the changes and the quick technology that's happening with digital. But as it stands now, that's kind of the framework in which we have to work.
Cool. So this is just a basic squiz over of the three platforms that we're on. Currently, we are on Zenio, on MySubs, and the newest platform that we are on is on Magster. So all three of them share a few things. They all have a similar sort of user interface where it's a dark sort of dark and easy to read sort of the interface. The magazines are easy to find, and the navigation is easy. You can see it's just a sort of slide to page sort of a model like that. So I'll just touch on what's different between the three of them. So Zenio was the first one that Media24 adopted as a platform that we can have our magazines on. And the only thing that's a bit different from the other three is that Zenio has links that it's like there is enrichment, but just a minimal amount. So in the contents, if you click on an article, then it will take you straight to the article, and links like the Men's Health website or something like that, if you click on it, it'll take you to Safari and onto the website. So that's basically the only thing that is different there, and that's just what it looks like. So just a screenshot on the iPad. With MySubs, we all know MySubs. It was at first the platform that we were encouraged to use, and it's similar to the other two, and the only main difference is you can share articles via email. All the other similar features are there.
Sorry, just one other thing with MySubs, it does have the capability to make bundles, not the other two platforms currently don't have that.
And we'll touch on the bundles later on as well. Magster is the newest in our stable of platforms that we are on, and there's just a few things that's different with Magster, and I have it open here. Above and beyond the user interface and the similarities between the other three, like these are the two pages that you usually have in a magazine, so they have this easy read feature that will automatically just size it up to a easy readable sort of a size, and then you can also share socially straight out of the app. So if there was an article that you liked or something like that, you can share it straight out of the app. And they also allow for minimal enrichment, but as we say, we're steering clear from that for now. Yeah.
Sorry, just a question. Why only on those three platforms?
Those are the three biggest kind of and most reliable. We have to, there are a lot of platforms out there, and as this is growing, there's a lot of sort of fly-by-nights, and everyone and their uncle thinks they can have their own platform. So each platform has to be evaluated that it does fit our objectives, that they're not dodgy. I think you know, Kurt, that you can upload a mag and next thing it's on PDF Giant and it's all over the show. So they have to fit our long-term business objectives.
Cool. And that's just a screenshot of Magster's app and what it looks like. And
Sorry, just one thing on the Magster. It also, the main benefit from Magster is it makes creates like a little shell app which automatically makes our titles available on the iTunes e-stand. And that's probably in the last 3-4 months is where we're getting most of our circulation growth is through newsstand purchases on iTunes.
Sorry, if you click on ads, do you go through to the websites, or
You
is that not?
can if the link is put in there, but there is, as I said, there are limitations to what is allowed and what clients do and all sorts of things.
Cool. Joel will be talking about ABC stuff for a while.
Yes, as you know, ABCs are my obsession. It's not necessarily a healthy thing. Digital circ, we started to measure it in the last quarter in 2011. Even though digital circ had been around in South Africa from about 2010, it's only when we got proper reporting tools that would satisfy the ABC that we could then comfortably report on our digital circ. But as you can see from a tiny base of 21,000, in the latest, most recent ABCs of quarter 2 this year, it's up to 67,000. And the next set of ABCs are to be released, I think, in about 2-3 weeks' time. And I'm assuming you're going to see a similar jump. What makes up what are the main categories on digital now? With the exception of the family category, which is the biggest on print, the biggest on digital is women's journal, motoring, home and mail, and then sport and travel. Then the rest is made up of smaller categories, which kind of generally follows the print ABC category split. For Media 24, I've pulled out our top 10 performing titles, and these are them. You'll notice it's pretty much an even split between English and Afrikaans titles. However, the uptake on Afrikaans titles across the board is much stronger than on English. You notice it a lot more if it's a dual language title like Ideas. The digital one, Ideas, is much higher than on the English version, and that's mirrored throughout our dual language titles. Now, this is what's interesting and what gives me hope. Of all individual subscriptions, in quarter 2 last year, digital only made up 6%, and within a year we're now making up 10%. And I'm pretty sure when you get the next set of ABC, that's going to grow even further. It's a function of both print struggling a lot on subscriptions and the growth in digital. The market share of main publishers in South Africa, Media 24, we're doing all right with 54%. The other big one is Ramsey, and that's because when digital, they were very much at the forefront when digital circulation became a thing, is they were very aggressive in their free trial policy in that if you subscribe with print, you got a free digital. So they got people to adopt digital a lot quicker than I think many other publishing companies. Then this is another complete opposite to what we see in print, is that our circulation is made up of 78% of subscriptions and the balance is single copies. So some people just want to buy one digital issue. Now it's completely the opposite way around in print, where most of your sales are through the newsstand. Then, as we spoke about before, the different platforms, now where are we getting all our sales? Zinio, just as a function of it being first, still takes up the bulk, but that has dropped quite substantially. The other big takeout is Magster, which is the same on par with MySubs, and it's only been around since March this year. 12% is made up of bundles, and I must just make it clear, these bundles are not Caboodle and the bundle. They're the smaller little bundles we create, which are 50% of the cover price, so do count for ABC. So it's things like the Back and Sari bundle, Women's Interest bundle, Sari and Sari course. It's all little combinations like that are making up quite a big number of our circ. And over to Spence.
Okay, so we'll just show you guys a few examples of what works. So I'll just be showing some examples of advertising on our own sites, some social media stuff, some flash sales, some bundling, and the banning on iTunes.
Sorry, I just want to mention what you don't see on there is in-book advertising. Well, we did do a lot at the launch of Caboodle and the Bundle. It was more for awareness. We certainly don't see any uptake in sales if we have an in-book ad. So it kind of shows that there isn't giant cannibalism of print. It's just if you're getting your better results on the medium that people will consume it.
So just to explain, when on the sites, on our own sites that we have, there are obviously paying ads, as like a lot of the people that are sitting here will know, but if there's not a paying ad and there's an empty space, that inventory is open for so-called house ads to then run. So if you go into any of the magazine sites, you'll see lots of these ads either at the position over there, or in this position over here, or like that. So all of our ads for Caboodle and the Bundle, for single title subscription ads as well, and for bundles like you saw over there at the top is an example of one of our offers that we have. So we're very aggressive with making sure that there's a presence on our magazine sites with our offers on there. Then on social media, what we usually do is, if there's for example a new offer that we have, I'll mail all the online ads that are probably bored of me already, and I'll tell them, guys, this new offer is available, can you please punt it on your social media. But also we have a few of our own social media platforms that we will say, get the Caboodle and the Bundle, or Lesi Sari Sari Course Bundle for this and that. So we're not as aggressive as we could be, but we are growing in aggressiveness, especially with in the last few weeks with Caboodle and the Bundle. We were really, really aggressive with all forms of punting.
But so just on the social media, we rely a lot, obviously, on each brand's online editor. That we're not going to force them to do it. We fit in with their strategy, and when they've got space, they'll do it. And we get wonderful cooperation from the online editors in pushing our bundles and their own subscriptions.
So this is just an example of a flash show recently that we had, where it was just for a certain amount of time, and we hit nearly every marketing platform that we had: SMSs, emailers, social media. So this is also a way. I think this flash sale push.
Yeah, for a while we were getting a few sales a day. This brought in over 400 just on the one day, which was
it really worked really well. Then I'll let Joel talk a bit here. This is just examples of some of our bundles that we have.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we've created a whole lot of smaller bundles because not everyone wants a Caboodle or the Bundle, because they do have lives, and they might only have like specific interests. So, we've got here the travel bundle, a woman's lifestyle, and a lot of it we get feedback from the titles themselves saying, well, what about us bundled with someone else? So we have bundling within the divisions, so within women's interest, but then you also have cross-bundling with a title from weeklies, with a lifestyle title, and that kind of thing. What we are seeing, the ones with similar interests work best, with the exception of the men's health and women's health bundle. What we find is a male-female kind of bundle doesn't seem to work, and that's just the nature of how you consume it. You're happy to pass over a mag to someone, less happy to pass over your iPad. So mags that are bundled together with similar interests work much better. But the fun thing with this is you can kind of experiment. If it doesn't work, you just take it down.
So the race bundle, the vroue, the Afrikaans version of that one in the middle, that has sari, ideas, and taste, and the active bundle are three of our best. They sell really well. So it's just an example of things that we tried and things that have worked. So.
And again, they are ABC claimable, so they are assisting us very nicely.
So, can you chat about this?
Oh, this is what I mentioned with the branding in iTunes of Magster. They have great relationships with Apple, so we've managed to get like nice promotional spots in the iTunes newsstand for a period of time. And in the last, since this started going, the growth in Magster sales has pretty much tripled. A lot of people already have iTunes newsstand, and then they're very happy to just add our products to their newsstand as well.
Okay, so this is Caboodle and the Bundle. So I'll say what each offer is, but I'll also just play a quick video that's introductory that was on CakeNet initially for Caboodle. I just hope the sound is going to be. Oh, there we go.
Teken vir slegs R99 per maand op kaboodle.co.za en kry 15 van jou gunsteling weeklikse en maandelikse Afrikaanse tydskrifte in digitale formaat. Lees dit op jou rekenaar, skootrekenaar of tablet. Die hele Kaboodle in een bondel. Kaboodle.co.za, 'n nuwe manier van lees.
So that ran on Cape at the very beginning, I think, of Kaboodle.
December,
Yeah.
November, December.
I think maybe in this year, like
Yeah.
in January, February. Kaboodle started before the bundle. So we first trialed it with Afrikaans titles only, and then when we saw the uptake and also the massive amount of people that were asking, please, we need an English version of this, we need an English version. The bundle came around about February. So basically all it is, it's either for the Afrikaans, it's 15 Afrikaans digital mags for 99 a month, but its value is a lot more. So, and the English is 19 digital magazines for 99 a month. And it's available through MySubs. And it's on, you can either consume it on your PC or your laptop, or on your Android tablet or on your iPad as well. So that's the gist of what it is. And like I say, the uptake and the satisfaction of people are like really good. So.
It's also, to be clear, these are the two that we can't count for ABC, because obviously 99 Rand dividing across all those titles, you're going to be well below the 50%. And the other interesting thing is that we haven't noticed that as that's grown, normal digital circuits slowed down. So it doesn't seem that people are cancelling a digital or a print sub to take out a Kaboodle. There is a definite market for all of our products. So some people like just to consume one title digitally. Others want a mini bundle, and then there are people who want the whole Kaboodle.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people forget sometimes is that South Africa's not, the tablet penetration is not as big as it is in maybe the UK or America or places like that. So people are still getting to grips with consuming a magazine in this form, and tablets are still kind of expensive. So as tablets become cheaper, and bandwidth becomes cheaper, because that's another thing that we forget. One of the main questions that people ask before they take a Kaboodle and the bundle, and the main reasons why we have the vouchers so that they can trial it, is that people are worried the download speeds and how much it's going to be. So then each magazine is about, on average, 20 to 40 megs. Kurt, you can confirm that. It ranges between that range depending on if it's like a men's health or a heat, depending on the size of the pages in the magazine. So those factors are a big factor in people actually purchasing it. So that's where the vouchers help a lot, where people can trial it and then see, okay, it spends this amount of data each month, like et cetera, et cetera. So that is a very important part of the whole thing.
In addition to the normal promotions we've had around Kaboodle and the bundle, we've also, we have quite a few partnerships where we try and add even more value into the Kaboodle. So one of them is with NB Books. So the series 12 of their books each month get added to the Kaboodle, and it's only available for people who've bought Kaboodle. So a new book's uploaded into your library each month. We also had quite a big partnership with Core, who run all the Apple iStores, where for about 3 to 4 months, if you bought certain phones or tablets, you got a voucher for Kaboodle or the bundle, depending what you bought. And there was quite a huge mall activation at Canal Walk.
Which we will display for you now.
Video.
People were entering into it was a competition for the iPad mini. So That was what they were, obviously for Caboodle and the Bundle and for consuming magazines digitally, but also doing the iPad. That was the carrot that we dangled in front of them. So that was what that was all about.
Another one of our big partnerships is with Articafia. Again, their members received a special offer for 79 Rand a month as opposed to the 99 Rand a month. They got a mailer and had to enter their membership number to qualify and that sort of thing. So that also brought in a large amount of sales. That's an example of the little microsite that we built, which any material they got to direct in there where they'd have to fill in all their details and then qualify. CakeNet that's been very popular as well. Probably the most calls I've received is from people wanting to know about how they can get the mag. We publish their mag for them digitally, and it's only available to Caboodle subscribers, so it also gets automatically added to their library.
We've got a little video for this as well.
In die Oktober weergawe van die CakeNet digitale tydskrif. Dis weer tyd vir Boer soek 'n vrou. Ons ontmoet die 10 boere en vind uit wat hulle harte laat vinnig klop. Laai die CakeNet digitale tydskrif nou af by kaboodle.co.za, waar jy kan inteken op 15 van jou gunsteling Afrikaanse tydskrifte soos Huisgenoot, Sari en Weg vir slegs R99 per maand. CakeNet digitaal op Kaboodle, dis 'n nuwe manier van lees.
You're a fan of Boer soek 'n vrou, LOL. I see you enjoyed that ad quite a lot.
This will be once in a week, and he gets
So that's also an example of one of the ads that we had on CakeNet for Caboodle and the Bundle.
Then other partnerships we've done is internal staff offers, that employee rewards programs that they run. So various ones we've done with MTN, Cell C. Same staff are sent an offer to get a special deal at 79 Rand a month. It's not a huge amount of sales, but it just all adds to the awareness and branding around Caboodle and the Bundle. Again, that's just an example of a mailer we sent out to the base, just promoting the fact that Caboodle's in there. I mean, CakeNet's in there.
It's a landing page for CakeNet.
Additional promotions we do, as I said, we do a lot of social media. That on some titles that works the best. We notice if they do something on Huisgenoot's Facebook or Twitter, you see an immediate spike in sales for that day. Another thing we do a lot of is trial vouchers, and those are two examples there. And we've got some for people here as well, where you get free 3 months, put in a code, you just get to experience it for 3 months. What we are seeing, and which is very positive, is the conversion from free to paid is around 60%. And in the States where they do a lot of free trials, the conversion is as high as 90%. Now that again is the complete opposite to print. When you give away a subscription as part of something, to try and convert that person to paid is minimal. We do, again, all our banner advertising on our own sites. We've done some advertising on expat sites, those community external sites, and then we've just want to run a competition on the microsite pushing entrance for iPad Mini.
And that also helped a lot with the last sort of the push that we needed for our targets for Caboodle and the Bundle. But I also just want to say, with regards to the vouchers, I deal with a mailbox where people ask questions and have queries and things like that, and it's such a like an amazing tool that you can use, because people have doubts that they don't want to spend like 99 Rand a month first because they're not sure of the experience. So that's what's cool of the voucher is you can just tell them, okay, you're not happy about this, try the voucher, and that's why I think the conversion rate is so good, because they experience how convenient it is to read your magazines like this.
Yeah, that's us. I mean, as Adam again said in the invite, we are apparently a hotbed of innovation, which sounds terribly exciting. But I'd like to think it means more that we allow to kind of make mistakes, because there's nothing, it's all new. There's not a huge amount in place, so we try stuff, some works, some doesn't. It's just a lot of trial and error. We don't have all the answers, but it's been fun playing.
Good, thanks.
Your video content, did it only go on CakeNet, or were you sharing it on social media too, like on Facebook pages and tweeting it on Twitter?
Yeah, so they initially were on CakeNet, but our Twitter for Caboodle and the Bundle, our Twitter pages and the Facebook pages, they aren't very big. So they only, the Facebook and the Twitter, the Facebook of Kaboodle and the Bundle only grew recently now because of the epic mammoth push that we were doing for to get our subs where we wanted it to be. So the traction that we've seen from YouTube videos, because the pool that we're sharing it from is not as big, has not been very good, but we do have plans to change that, because that's one aspect, not only our department, but Media 24 magazines as a whole has not been utilizing at all. There's not a very positive YouTube presence from all of the, and you would think that titles like Men's Health and Women's Health and Fair Lady would have bigger YouTube like communities.
In general.
Yeah, so you'll no.
And do you still have those promos, and do you have them in English as well, or only in Afrikaans?
For those, we only had those obviously for Kyk, so it is only Afrikaans, but the only English Kaboodle and the Bundle videos, or the bundle video that there is like a how-to that they were playing at the mall activation, but that I don't think was shared either. But like I say, there are plans in place, so this is on our roadmap for us to start to utilize the YouTube video and that sort of thing to get more subs, or at least, because something that I wanted to say earlier is that the thing with digital mags is there's still an education that needs to happen. We assume, because we're in the industry and because like a lot of the people that we know have iPads and things like that, that people will know that this is there. There's still a big education that needs to happen. People need to know that they can get the magazines in this way, and that the magazines that they like is available like this. So that's why I said it's on the roadmap.
Yeah, so maybe an idea would be to like just shoot like a proper commercial, and what Kaboodle is and what it does, and like a 20-second video that can just be spread.
You have no idea how many times I've suggested that. So
but just to mirror what Spencer said, a lot of it is education of people. As said, we make the assumption that we know what it's, that everyone kind of knows what it's all about. So a lot of it is a lot of explaining of how it actually works, how you do it, and payment methods and that kind of thing. It's still relatively new.
Cool. Any other questions?
You're getting a lot of subscribers from other countries through iTunes and expat sites.
There are quite a few overseas subscribers, because some of our titles are also available in the overseas stores, the ones that don't have licensing issues. It's probably maybe around 10% of our total circ. Some titles have a stronger overseas component, like Asari has a very strong base from Australia and the UK, Hazelnut, those sorts of titles, but it is growing, especially now that we're through newsstand.
Case in point, there was a customer that had they were unhappy about something, or they had a query about something, and I offered her a voucher for the bundle, and she said, no, can I maybe give her a voucher for Sarikos or something like that, because she's in Asia and she's overseas and she wants to read Afrikaans, because everything else is English there. So there are lots of people overseas that want to consume and read the mags that they have here at home.
It is a lot that's mostly anecdotal, but there isn't, as I said, a huge switch of people cancelling their print and wanting to take out a digital. I think there's a market for everyone. Some people always like their print, some people want to have digital, some want bundles. So there's a vast selection for everyone.
Spencer, will there be kind of what's new, what's next? Besides the PDF stuff, is there going to be some standalones?
Well, you can ask Bettina. There's a lot of standalones that are on the way, but like I think where a lot of our focus is going to shift to the new a sort of app environment and things like that. But I'm sure we will figure out new ways of promoting and new ways of enjoying magazines like that. But I don't think like enrichment and things like that, I don't think it's gonna. I think for now we're gonna stick to PDF replicas.
Yeah, I also don't think this is the kind of future of everything. A PDF replica, I think at the moment, is almost a stopgap solution until the ABC rules are a lot more flexible and there's a move more towards apps and aggregated content and things like that. So I think, again, you will have people who are okay with a PDF replica, but you'll also have people who want something more enhanced and enriched and all sorts of things.
Because people are just getting used to, like the sort of stalwart print customers just getting used to consuming mags in this way. So that's why I'm not really worried that suddenly it's going to be a process. It's going to be a process of 5 to 6 years before this is phased out and perhaps something new is there. But, yeah. It's a good question.
Sorry.
Have you got any lower LSM publications that are running through the same platforms, and what sort of traction have you got on those?
We are not seeing great traction on the lows. All our titles are available on all the platforms. We're not seeing huge uptake on any of those titles. What is interesting though is in those titles that are in Caboodle or the bundle, the amount of downloads is quite high of those titles. So we're not seeing sort of purchase traction for just that title, but when it's part of something, it proves to be quite popular.
Okay. And the drive to educate low LSM, is that sort of on the back burner for now? Or is
No, we have, as Spencer was saying, there are sort of videos. We work in conjunction with like the Ryan from Kickoff, so our marketing is slightly different around those sorts of things, and it is more around sometimes the mobile. You can read it on your mobile if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
How you go about it. Again, the biggest question is the size of and what it's going to cost me to download. So there's a lot of education around that, which we don't necessarily do on some of the other titles.
Okay.
So we don't apply one size fits all marketing for all the titles, because a sari is going to be very different to a men's health. What appeals to them.
Right.
Cool.
Yes.
On that pie chart you had of market share, Condé Nast seemed to have a disproportionately big, I think it was 20-something%. My mum might be remembering.
I think that was associated.
Oh, was that associated?
Yeah, they're also quite big because they were on Zinnia, on My Subs, and they've also gone on to Magster, and they also did quite an aggressive pricing strategy for a time, which was 50% off the lowest you can go. And they actually now, if you go onto most of the associated websites, instead of when the first little subscribe options there, they don't even say subscribe anymore. They just say download now. So they're also doing quite an aggressive push of their digital circulation.
Okay, anybody else have more questions? No.
Thank you
Thank you very much, Eugene.